RWP is brought to you by Porch Beer Entertainment.
It's just making me realize that we're getting older and we're going to be sore more often, and we're going to be like, there's going to come a day where it's just going to hurt to get out of bed every day.
I've been there for the last 8 years.
I mean, for me, it comes and goes. There are some mornings where it's like, oh, it's the dogs are barking, as they say. But right now, I was just down there on the ground, constructing stuff with the elliptical, and then I stood up, and my back was like, whoa, what are you doing?
It's gradually, it's little things like how you. One thing I've noticed is I used to be really flexible and
Right.
do you sit down and put your socks on, or do you stand up and put them on?
I like sitting on something while I put them on. Yeah.
So
I sit in my office chair when I put my socks on.
So I used to be able to kind of pull my leg all the way up and just put on my socks standing.
Right.
I didn't really want
that
to go
sounds
sit down.
horrible.
And the other day I tried that and almost fell over. I couldn't do it.
No, that sounds horrible. Honestly, I don't even put. So you know what's a pain is putting Lucy in her car seat and strapping her in. I have to get on the ground to do it, and it's so now I've gotten lazier and lazier. Where now I bring her car seat unstrapped over to this little bench, and then I sit on the bench, and then I strap her in, because I used to have to get on my all fours and put her in, and then stand up, and then it's oh,
you don't put her in the car seat in the car.
No. So we only have one car seat, and we have two bases. So we go
right.
We go back.
So you unclip the base and you clip it into the other one.
No. We have two bases. So there's a base in each car.
Yes.
And then there's the car seat. So I take the car seat out of the car.
Right.
Every time. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you understanding what I'm saying?
I guess clearly not. So you have the two bases, right? So that means
two bases.
That one car seat can click into either car.
Either car. You got it. You figure that part out.
So do you put the car seat in and then put Lucy in it, or you strap her into the car seat ahead of time?
We put her into the car seat ahead of time, then you carry her out. Because you got so many stuff.
So why are you on your hands and knees doing that? You could do that
because
inside.
The car seat's on the floor.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm doing it inside.
I thought you were doing it outside on the concrete in front of the car.
No,
I was then you're a psychopath.
No. I'm doing it inside on the floor, and then I strap her in, and then I stand up, and then I have to carry out the car seat with my backpack and stuff, and then I carry her outside, and then I place the car seat into the car.
It might just be me, but I feel like you're overcomplicating.
It's not overcomplicated. It's a very simple process.
I think so.
My whole point was leaning down, bending down, and getting on all fours. It hurts. It hurts. My back. I have a little pillow for my back when I work throughout the day. It's a little back pillow, because I'm if I sit in this chair forever, it's just going to hurt. Everything hurts. Everything hurts. It's just a pain.
Was it yesterday? It was Wednesday. I lifted with Jake in his garage gym. And I hadn't lifted we're talking squats, power cleans, deadlift stuff, actual big barbell, a commercial gym thing.
Oh, I haven't done that.
I haven't done that in over a year, maybe more. And last time I went was with Pete last year to go climb at this gym, and they had a bench press and stuff, so we messed around. But I mean, one, I found out I'm just immensely weaker than I've ever been in my entire life, and two, it hurts to move anything. We did the whole gamut, because we were I never get to work out on these things anymore, because we just have the Peloton and treadmill, and so it's
that's all you need, though. What are you training for the Olympics? You don't need to be lifting giant things.
As soon as I sat down in my car to drive home from his house, when I opened the door to get out, when I got there, it's 25 minutes away.
Yeah,
my entire lower body just started cramping. And I had to sit on the ground outside of my car.
I just don't know how one day, back in the day, we were able to do those things and then walk to classes all day at college.
Oh, I thought you meant you know, like way back when, like
No,
they
I don't
would
mean like elementary
know,
school. I mean like
wrestle cattle and then get up
in
and
college.
build a house. And
No,
I
we
was
would
just
like
like,
lift, and then you'd be like, "All right, now let me go walk a half mile to class and be perfectly fine, and like
oh yeah.
walk around all day and moving. We're moving all day. Now we just sit. I don't move that much during the day anymore.
Well, now you got that elliptical.
Now I got well, not yet. It's
So
not
what's
built
the
yet.
story behind the elliptical? I mean, I didn't even know you were getting one.
There's no story. It was just like we don't have enough room for a treadmill. So we
you-
found a
Are you
pretty
sure?
yeah,
How big is this
positive.
elliptical?
It's pretty. It's
Is
pretty
it like an
small.
elliptical? Like,
Yes, it's an elliptical, but it's like it's pretty like skinny, I guess. And it's just it doesn't take up that much room. And a treadmill.
so who's
takes
it
up more room.
for? You and Abby,
For
or
both
you?
of us, yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a little routine going. But yeah, wanted something. Yeah, just we wanted it, and we found it, and it was a birthday gift from my parents to me. Because I,
Are we
didn't
doing
want to buy
anything
it
for your
myself.
birthday this year?
No,
Not a thing.
not a thing. Next year will be the big 3-0. That will be the big birthday year for us. This year, I mean, I got family stuff and this wedding that I was complaining to you about. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can take to the airwaves, tell the random nation, see if it's appropriate or not. Throw up a poll.
Well, okay. We won't spend much time on this because we do have an OceanCast to get to. But I just wanted to briefly say, I was telling Salty Dalton, I have a wedding thing next weekend. It's not even really a wedding thing because these people have been married for like a year, but they're having a little party because they didn't get to have a wedding because of COVID.
Well, hold on there. That's what Nick is doing. All right.
Yes, but Nick's is a wedding. He's got a ceremony.
It is. Yeah, it's like
he's
a
got,
second wedding.
Yeah, exactly. But these people, it's like a barn or something. And then it's like, it's not a wedding. They're like, it's just like a party. There's no bridesmaids and groomsmen. It's just like a bunch of people are coming. Yeah. And I was like, that sounds great. A little party time. We're going to leave early because we're going to have somebody watching the baby. We're only going to stay for a little while and then we'll leave. But there's a dress code requirement where not only do you guys have to wear ties, but they have to wear jackets. And I was telling Abby, I was like, what am I going to do with my jacket all night? Because like it's gonna be hot, and I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna immediately take the jacket off, basically. And it's like, why did you make us wear jackets?
It's a little nuts because like because it's basically so it's literally like
it's
a
like
barn,
a party, but it's not
like,
even at like a fancy place. It's at somebody's house, like their land. It's not like we're at a ballroom at Tyson's Galleria.
So like I definitely like,
don't take the other side.
No, if I'm doing something like that, right? The only people that I would want dressed up would be the people who would have been in my wedding party.
Sure.
So you can
and
take
I wouldn't
the cool,
have been in the wedding.
So you can
party.
take the cool photos because, like, my question is the bride going to be wearing her wedding dress?
I don't think so.
Then why?
Then
why do we have to wear?
That's
ties?
what I'm saying because like it's going to be hot. I'm going to be sweating.
Hey, do you want to come to a barn and drink and eat? Yes, I would love to.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's in the hills and stuff. Make sure you're wearing black tie attire.
See,
and
that's the thing. It's like
that's dumb because
I don't mind wearing a nice shirt and pants or whatever.
Or like wear a nice
like
sweater if it's cooler out in the evening or something.
But a tie and jacket.
Because who is that for?
Who is it for? It's not for me.
Who is it for? Unless they're doing a huge group photo or maybe surprise you're in the wedding party.
And even then, those photos don't really matter except for the people that got married. Let's be honest. Like
no, I'm 100% on your side with this. Like from like
I'm pissed
their
off.
thing of like, hey, I want like some nice photos and stuff. Like I can see them having a case for like the immediate close friends for the good photos.
Sure. But I'm not.
But no,
I'm not close friends
I'm not
with
gonna tell for our wedding, we didn't tell our guests that they had to wear jackets and ties.
No,
we literally said dress casual. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it was like, but it's like, look, if I'm going to a wedding, then I get it.
Most
it's like,
people
if it's
wear
at a place,
button up, a form of a button up. Some people don't wear ties, and that's fine. Yeah. Some people wear jackets and just a polo, whatever.
As the person, like at my wedding or your wedding, I'm sure both of us wouldn't have cared if somebody showed up in a polo and shorts. Let's be honest. Unless they were in the wedding party, it doesn't matter. But for me, I'm going to show up. I'm going to start sweating as soon as I get there. I'll probably sweat on the way. And then
you'll sweat thinking about whether or not you may or may not sweat, depending on the temperature.
And then I'm going to get there,
at the radar, yeah.
And I'm going to get sweaty because it's going to be humid. And then, like, we're going to be outside in, like, a barn. It's like, oh, well, good thing I have my jacket and pants.
Can't wait to get this
shoes.
dirty.
Can't wait to
Like-
get cow turds all over my shoes.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a mess, and I'm already pissed. I've
Well, it's
already been
also, like-
complaining.
And now everyone's bringing a jacket, and it's like you play that game where you put the jacket on a chair, and then good luck finding your jacket.
Exactly.
Again.
I'm gonna have to. And I don't even know if I have any jackets. I got to look through my jackets. I haven't worn a jacket in years. It's been forever, but I'll figure it out. I've been complaining to Abby about this for weeks now.
We're
Literal weeks.
We're watching my sister-in-law's 2 dogs, the 2 big golden retrievers,
Right.
for the weekend, and they've already just the living room's just blown up. It's destroyed.
Good. I remember meeting one of those
Tilly and
dogs.
Wrigley are so pissed because they'll go over to their toy crate, pull out I'm not even joking, every single toy, and then they'll just destroy one of them.
It's like when you have those
indiscriminately.
obnoxious cousins that come to town, but you got to
Yeah.
be nice to them.
Hey, Vinny!
You got to let
mind
them
if I
play with
park
your
there?
toys, and you
Yeah.
got to let them like be in your house and stuff. And the whole time you're like,
But
God,
Ashley's
please
trying to
leave.
keep eyes on them because we have to keep one of them under close supervision. The youngest one, he's not even a year old yet, but he's huge. But she just texted me. She's like, "Are the dummies down there with you?" And I was like, "Nope. That means they are somewhere they're
they're
not
on the
supposed
roof,
to be.
running around.
They're out of
Um,
here."
Well,
Anyway.
we have a big show here, Salty.
Do we?
Dalton. We got a lot to get to.
Was
so
I
let's-
supposed to prep anything? I can't remember.
No. I like letting you just react to the things I say.
Well, it's kind of nice because I used to put together the formats for the.
Right.
How many episodes did we
For
do
the old
before we
show.
switched to remote?
I don't know.
A lot. And I remember I would type them up at work, and then
Yeah.
I would send them to the printer, and I have to sprint all the way
Right.
over there.
God,
Because
I
there's
mean,
only one person who like pulled it off, and they're like, "What is?" I was like, "This mine. Don't worry."
And
about
I
it."
remember doing the same thing where I definitely printed copies of our old format at work. And there was one day where I guess I had forgotten I had printed 2 copies. So a second copy was sitting in the printer, and I'd gone to like the bathroom. And when I came back, it was the other copy
It's
was
gone.
It was down. No, it was on my desk, turned downwards. and nobody said anything. So I was like, some kind person picked that up, was like, "What the hell is this?" And then they were like, "This must be Ben's," and they didn't. They put it down without even saying a word. That
How about
kind
that?
angel. That kind angel. Let's get into it. We'll just hit the intro. Why not? Why don't we do that? Here we go. All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome.
Yep. Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
And welcome. Looks
Hello.
like he's actually on the phone. That's the funny thing. I thought you were holding a phone up to your ear. Look at that. Everybody's here. Everybody's
Welcome
here.
into
The
Channel
studio
4
audience.
News.
We should just
Reporting
bring
on
in people.
everything.
We should let there be a live studio audience where we just have somebody goes to your house and sits behind you, and
Yeah,
then
and then
somebody goes
you
to my
split the
house.
audience between 2
Yeah.
people.
And
That'd
that's-
actually be really, really weird, but I'd be down for it.
Welcome to the Random Word Podcast. You know where you are. I mean, you don't just stumble upon this show. Follow us
You
on
have to
Instagram.
dig.
If you
have to
don't
dig for
already,
one of these.
you do. You do have to
I feel
dig.
like we have good ratings on the iTunes store, but like
Yeah.
every other celebrity has started a podcast, so like I feel like
Oh, there's
small
too many.
podcasts will
There's a
never be
zillion.
featured as like on the spotlight thing.
No, our podcast would never get there. But guess what? We've done like, if I consult my handy dandy phone,
Your
I'll tell you how
database?
many episodes we've done. We have
Good
done.
amount.
Here we go. We have done.
Because we're coming up on. Did we just come up on 3 years?
Yeah, we came up on 3 years. Okay, now it does. It used to say what number episode we were on, but now I don't know, so I can't tell you.
You're doing this wrong.
What do you mean I'm
Stand by.
doing this wrong?
Listen, I don't even think you listen to podcasts.
See all.
You're probably not like.
It doesn't say. It
that's
doesn't say
savvy.
how many we've done. Rating clean. Yeah, right. We're not clean.
See all 103 episodes.
103. No, not 103. See all 108. My phone says. See, it says see all 108.
Oh yeah, okay.
So
That's
we've
because
done
you
a-
opened it. Yeah.
So we've done 108 episodes. So this is 109.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, happy 109th.
Yeah,
This
hooray!
is the OceanCast, Salty Dalton. On this episode, we're going to
Down
be
under.
doing. Here's what I have planned for you today,
Under the sea.
Salty Dalton. I wish I could
Under
play that
the
music, but we'd
sea.
probably get it this show off of YouTube. Segment 1 will be some ocean facts for you.
Mhm.
Segment 2.
I'm really
we're-
hoping that I can bring the momentum in from. I knew literally almost every fact about the rainforest for some reason.
Well, this one isn't a quiz, but the segment 2 is a quiz. We're playing
Oh, okay.
real fish or not. And I'm going to tell you some fish, and you're going to tell me if they're real or not. And then segment 3, which I'm very excited for, is called Scariest Deep Diver Stories, which is going to get a little scary because the ocean in general terrifies me.
Oh, you're horrifying.
I barely go in it. When any sort of beach routine for us, it's I
We can
only
get
go in.
anywhere on land. Like as a people, we've
Yeah.
covered almost the entire world, but we still have not really gone that far in the ocean.
Well, that will get to the facts. We'll get to the facts, Salty Dalton, and I'll tell you about that.
Mhm.
Here's fact number one. Thanks to the ocean, most of our planet is dark. Oceans have an average depth of 12,000 feet, and because light waves can only penetrate 330 feet of water, everything below that point is dark. And since water makes up most of the planet, that means most of the Earth exists in absolute darkness all the time.
Yeah, that's scary, man. Like, and also like, cause like water is clear, right? You know, you scoop it up, doesn't matter unless it's
Right.
like polluted. But like, you go to the beach and you get a little beach bucket, and it's like, oh look, I can see right through the bottom, and you expect it to be that way
But it's
all the
not.
way down, and
Just
that
think
that's
about the bottom of the ocean is like pitch
Could you
black.
imagine needing a flashlight
Freaks me out, man.
underwater so deep and so dark that you physically can't see?
It scares me.
It's almost worse than being in darkness just on land.
It's
definitely
100%
worse. Yeah.
worse. It's
Oh, yeah.
100% worse because there could be you know how so I believe in sea monsters because the fact
Stand by.
because no
Stand by.
listen because in one of these facts more than 90% of the planet's life forms are undiscovered and underwater. 90%. So
Well,
we've
no,
only discovered
let's see.
10% of the planet's life forms.
I'm actually probably on board with the sea monster from the perspective of like an insanely large, scary, and undiscovered.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. There's definitely something like that down there.
If 90%
They,
are
they just
undiscovered,
like a
yeah.
couple weeks ago, they found like was it something stupid like a 210-year-old shark?
210 years old?
Yeah, it's let me find
Wow,
it.
you
It's
said you
nuts.
didn't
Like
do
he
any
was
prep for this
alive
show.
during like Spanish exploration or something crazy. Let me find
Spanish
it.
exploration. What does that mean? I don't.
You know when they Cortez America. Okay.
Cortez. No, it's
Oldest shark in the world, a 512-year-old Greenland shark.
512. You gave him 200 years. 500 years old. So
Yeah.
so that means he was around in like 16 something. 1621, you could say. That's insane. That's
Yeah.
insane. So he was around like when
The
America
average
was being
age
founded.
The average age of what's called the Greenland Sharks in the sample that they took was 272 years old.
Jesus.
And then they said the oldest was estimated to be 400 plus or minus 120 years, which is kind of a wide gap, which is I think how
plus
they
or
got it.
minus.
But if they know for a fact it's at least 392, that's nuts,
That's
right? Like
insane.
that fish was like swimming around and like
Columbus was like sailing above.
and he was just like, times change.
Wonder if
Huh?
that guy's gonna change everything.
Is he the ultimate get off my lawn shark? Like he's seen
He's seen everything. He's seen everything.
All of it.
He's seen the founding of America.
He was there when the atomic bombs went off, and he was like, God,
He was definitely
this.
there for the atomic bombs. But speaking of that, the United States lost a hydrogen bomb in the ocean.
Yep.
Apparently, in
Not a good look.
1966, the U.S. managed to lose a hydrogen bomb at sea. But apparently, it says luckily, it was eventually found with the help of a Spanish fisherman. Imagine that catch.
Okay.
He's just out
what
there.
What would you, if you're the fisherman and you're like reeling up this very heavy thing, and you pull up a bomb? What would
How
be
big
your
is a
first
hydrogen
reaction?
bomb? I have no context. For this.
Pretty large.
Okay, so
If
it didn't
talking
just
like
catch
the
on
old
his
school,
line.
like hydrogen bombs. Here, I'll get you the dimensions. Stand
How
by.
big is a hydrogen bomb? I'm googling it as well. 100 kilotons to 1.5 megatons. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what a megaton is.
That's how they measure the force of the explosion.
So how did this fisherman find it then? He didn't
my guess is that
catch onto it. It didn't land in his net.
Yeah, my guess is that he was like kind of dredging in a net, but I feel like it might not. I don't know how they're necessarily built, but it's not like one solid mass. So
Right.
like there's a lot of like obviously encasing material around it, but I feel like it sort of did that sink thing where it sinks to a certain level, but then doesn't still kind of floats. If that makes sense,
man.
I don't know. Kind of like those old like pool toys you throw to the bottom and they kind of just hover there.
Right. Okay. So that's
would be
a hell of a
I mean,
day.
because other than that, I mean, how would you possibly like A couple sharks bring it up.
And who do
be
you
like, "You left
call
this
for
down
that?
here?"
Who do you call? Your
That's a
government?
great question. So, like, what would you do if that were your first instinct? You get that bomb, you roll it up out of the net and go, "That's no fish.
Yeah, well, I
That's
don't
a
know if you roll
bomb."
it up out of the net. It's 2 megatons or whatever it is. I've never even heard of a megaton.
It falls right through your boat.
It's a hell
Explodes.
of a catch.
But like, who takes that seriously? If I called
I don't know.
911, weirdly enough, at sea, do you call the Coast Guard?
You know,
Or
there
does
could
911
probably
still
be
apply?
in some countries. There's like undetonated bombs just like sitting in the ground.
Oh
Like,
yeah, there's a bunch of minefields that are still active.
Yeah, that's true. Isn't that the? And don't they also say that? This is just me just spouting things that I have heard. Isn't in the dead zone between North and South Korea? Isn't like the land just covered in like bombs, and like that's why you can't. It's some parts of the
Yeah,
land.
that's part of it. Basically, like there's a bunch in like Bosnia and stuff too, but like anywhere where there were those types of bases, or they really wanted people to not be able to get through easily, it's just miles of mines.
God, that's terrifying.
And some of them don't work, some of them do work, some
High
of them are
stakes
buried
Frogger
really
right
deep.
there.
That is, yeah.
It's
because like they have what are they called? They basically train these rats, and I don't know if it was in Guatemala or something, to go out and essentially like identify landmines.
So
The
meanwhile, the rats that we use in America just like eat pizza in New York.
they
or
beat you
whatever
up
it
and
was.
take your money. Yeah. Apparently they've like trained these like little creatures to run out and basically point out and identify landmines.
There it is.
So many.
I see it right over there. I see it right over there. I don't know what accent it is, but you said Guatemala. I'm not going to do a Guatemalan accent. By the way, Salty Dalton, there's enough gold in the ocean for each of us to have 9 pounds of it. There's around 20 million tons of gold dispersed through the ocean. It's
From what? Like
from like
pirates
shipwrecks and
sinking
stuff and pirates
sinking
yeah.
at sea.
So there's
That's a lot
enough
of
for each
gold.
of us to have 9 pounds of gold.
Like everyone in the world.
That's what it says. But it's very diluted, it says. Its concentration is only a few parts per trillion, according to the National Ocean Service. You know.
Obviously, I'm not
NOS.
gonna reach my hand in at the beach, and I was surprised people haven't done that more often.
Well, we used to when we used to go to Michigan, there's a river that we would that was by my grandparents' house,
You
and it's a
paying for
very
gold?
fast river. Well, that's the thing is people would crash their canoes all the time because it's a fast river, and so we would go diving to go try to find stuff that like fell out of people's boats. Most of the time it was just beer and like sunglasses and stuff, but I would always think like one day because one of my cousins found like a wallet and like it had money in it and stuff, and it was like a whole thing, and so then we kept trying to find it again, and it never happened again.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like there's not as many ocean explorers trying to find lost gold anymore. You know, it's only the movies.
I would love to be an ocean explorer.
It's got to be so boring though.
Well, you got to know where to look. You got to
Well, one,
go.
you have to, yeah, you absolutely need to know where to look. Two, you need to have some sort of credibility to this,
Sonar.
like the legend of this sunken ship. And you got to have all this equipment. And then like 98% of your time is spent just staring at the screens. And like the times you do dive, it's like false alarm. It's a bunch of bones down here.
But wouldn't it? I mean, it would be. I mean, if there's, what did I say? 20 million tons of gold dispersed through the oceans. I mean, well, then you got to remember, the ocean goes so far down that like,
What if
there's
they're
some
just
gold
gone?
that you'll just never get to.
Yeah,
because it's
I
so
mean,
far down. Because the
it's down with
pressure,
the sea monsters.
because water at the bottom of the ocean is incredibly hot. In these deepest parts of the ocean, the water temperature, I guess there's vents where the water is released at 400 degrees Celsius, which is 750 degrees Fahrenheit, and it could
It's hot
basically
water.
kill you. It is hot water. It's what I use to make my ramen. The planet's longest mountain range is underwater and is 10 times longer than the Andes. The planet's longest mountain range, so it's underwater. And I was reading weird things like.
Does that mean
there's-
that we've summited those mountains already? Can I put that on my resume?
I don't think so. I don't think we have.
They're below sea level.
But they were like reversed, aren't they? Don't they go down? Isn't that how that works? Isn't it?
Are you picturing the mountain as a triangle, and instead
You mean like a like a
instead,
reflection?
The bottom of the mountain is actually the beginning, and the point keeps going deeper. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I was thinking initially, but now that
Okay.
I think further, So I guess the mountain is literally just the bottom of the ocean up,
Mhm.
and then we just never see it.
So technically, we've summited like the largest mountain ever just by standing here.
I read that there were also like rivers and streams in the ocean, which doesn't make any sense to me either.
Wait, I mean, there was that one scene from Finding Nemo with the turtles who were like surfs up, and they
Well, that
took
was the
current.
Pacific something something. I forget what the turtles said.
That's exactly what it's called.
But there's
the PSS.
There are rivers in the ocean. I'm telling you, I read about this.
I don't believe it.
An underwater river has been discovered snaking along
What
the
does that
ocean
mean?
bed of southwestern Australia.
It's all water.
It's one that cut deep into the seafloor, much as rivers on dry ground wind through a landscape. So I guess it's like,
But is it like, could you be
isn't
in
it just
the water?
part of the ocean?
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you're in the water and you look down, are you gonna see a different colored water floating through, or is it just water?
I don't know. I
That's-
don't know. This article says
Who published that?
this
who's
is the
like,
BBC.
Did you know that there are rivers in
Far
the
below
ocean?
the surface of the seabed is being scoured by rivers of sediment that can flow thousands of miles from land. I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is there's rivers in the water, apparently, in the ocean.
I'm doing image search on this.
I'll tell you another fact while you're searching. The ocean has more artifacts than all the world's
Okay,
museums
interesting.
combined.
This is what they're talking about.
What do you mean?
Actually,
Yeah. It's a
so
river.
it's basically, it looks like a riverbed,
Yeah.
but it's just underwater.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, but so that doesn't mean that it's like flowing. It just means that there were rivers there once.
It's a river.
Maybe.
It's a river.
Yeah.
The ocean
Interesting.
has more artifacts than all the world's museums combined. Isn't that pretty wild?
That's so much.
So it's got gold and it's got artifacts.
It's got the most gold ever. It's got the most animals that we
100%.
haven't. Or
It's
fish.
home to nearly 95% of all life is in the ocean.
Yeah, that's a scary thought that only 5% of all life is
It's
like,
here.
visible to us.
Like you look outside, you see a bird, you see a cat.
That's
like,
5%.
That's like nothing.
There's 95% somewhere down there.
95%, man. It's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. Those are some ocean facts for you. Now we're going to get to play a game that I'm very excited for. It is called... what's it called? It's called Real Fish or Not. Salty Dalton, I've got some names of fishes here. Fish types of fish. These are real, or are they? I'm going to read it to you, the name, and you're going to tell me if it's real or not, okay?
Okay.
All right, we're going to start this off. Are you ready? Fair warning, I have not prepared any fake ones, so the fake ones are just going to come out of my head. But you're not going to be able to tell.
I don't know. I think I might be able to.
Hold on, let me make sure the music isn't too loud. Okay, the first one... the first one is a...
Yeah, you're making one up.
No, hold on. Let me
now,
reset.
yeah.
Let me reset. Okay. Let me just get... Okay, I'm ready. Number one.
False. It doesn't exist.
No. Here we go. The Coffin Fish.
That's not real.
It is real. It's found off the east coast of Australia. It's
coffin
technically
fish.
a type of sea toad with a flabby body and a lure that can be hidden in its snout.
Well,
That's
there are
coffin
sea
fish.
toads.
It's it's technically a type of sea toad. Yeah.
So it's a type of what are toads classified as? Amphibians?
Well, no, but that I think sea toad's in quotes, so that must mean it's like not real.
What does that mean? It's
you-
a sea toad, if
So
you
you're
know
0
what
for
I
1
mean.
right now. You're
I
0 for 1.
guess so, yeah.
All right, number 2. The Jawfish. The Jawfish.
True. That's real.
It is real. This fish hatches eggs inside its mouth to protect its newborns from predators. Because that yawning chasm of a gob obviously screams safety. Don't worry, the jawfish typically eats plankton, not human swimmers. Just letting you know. By the way, I'm going to send you the link so you can see these fish for yourself. Like,
Okay, I want to
they all
look at
look-
them after.
They all look terrifying.
Are they all those deep sea ones? Those
yes.
like real nasty looking hollow bodies?
Oh, they're so scary looking.
Yeah, okay.
This one, next up, is the wolf fish.
That's not real.
It is real, the wolf fish.
What?
You might expect the wolf fish to be a bit of a beast, especially since it can grow to more than 2 meters in length.
I
But
wanna
it's
get
actually
paid to write
pretty
these
meek.
articles.
The wolf fish hides out in nooks and caves along the ocean floor, feeding on hard-shelled invertebrates such as clams. Judging by this photo, it could use a good dentist. I'm going to take a photo of this photo, and then I'm going to hold it up for you to see. That's the thing.
How is that? Who saw that and was like, it's a wolf? That looks
It's
real
wolf
creepy.
fish. By the way, our YouTube audience, if you are listening to us on YouTube, you can see these fish because I'm taking pictures and I'm holding up my phone to the camera. Here was the jawfish, by the way.
Oh, I've seen one of those. Yeah, it's got like 8 different rows of teeth.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of freaky. Let me show you the coffin fish because coffin fish is ugly
Yeah,
as hell.
I could have sworn that was fake.
This is the coffin fish.
These are also really like I know some of these fish aren't photogenic. But I feel like it's
they
like,
took the ugliest photos.
It's like the worst type of photo for each fish. Like
we've got the Fang Tooth. The Fang Tooth.
That's not real.
It is real. The Fang Tooth.
Are there any fake ones in here?
Yes. Yes, of course.
And there's gonna be a point where you're gonna have to rattle off 5 that aren't real.
This is the Fang Tooth.
That dude looks angry.
The Fang Tooth is another scary-looking specimen, but it's actually quite harmless to humans. The fish's name comes from its fang-like teeth, no shit, which are disproportionately large in comparison to its tiny body. So why...
It's like
oh, God, these
overbite?
websites. You get ready for this joke. So why does the Fang Tooth have such a cranky face? Our best guess is short fish syndrome. Yeah. Isn't that... Wait, is that a joke about penis size?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're talking about the fish's dick.
Next up, we've got the Parrot Fish.
Yeah, that's real.
It is real. Look, there's the Parrot Fish.
Oh, that's a good-looking fish.
It is. It's the first line says, "This fish is disgusting." Some parrotfish species protect themselves at night by secreting a mucus cocoon before going to sleep.
Jesus.
The cocoon surrounds the fish and masks
I thought that was
its
just
scent,
hitting puberty. Am I right?
which is all good and well. But then you remember that said cocoon.
No, that didn't
cocoon
land.
is made of mucus. Imagine snorting yourself a snot blanket at night. What was your joke?
When you said, what was it about they make themselves like a disgusting...
Cocoon. A mucus cocoon.
And I said, I thought that was just hitting puberty because it's at night when you go to sleep. But it's fine.
Was that a...
Let's just not worry about it.
I don't even know where that was
It's
going.
one of those jokes you make, you know? You're just kind of like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's just called being a teenager, right?
Okay, yeah, sure. Next up, the stonefish. Is
That's
that real
real.
or not? It's real? It is real. Look, that's what it is.
All I see is a picture of a rock.
Exactly. Rocks can be dangerous if thrown really hard at someone's face, but they're nothing
Is that
compared...
what the article says?
Yeah, it is. News.com. But they're nothing compared to the fish that looks like rocks. The stonefish is one of the most venomous fish in the world.
Huh.
Stonefish venom can even be fatal to humans if left untreated. It says, so mind your step.
How are we supposed to find that? We can't even see through the ocean. That's
I-
interesting. I didn't know that. Actually, did not know that there were venomous fish. I guess.
I
guess-
knew that. Isn't there like a type
I feel
of...
like eels definitely have
Right,
like
right.
biting and the shocking and venom, but like like a fish, I guess.
a f-
I don't
fish.
associate them with like being like snakes.
Isn't
Like
there some kind of fish where like if the blowfish there's some kind of fish where they use it in food, but it's like if they do it the wrong way, it could kill you.
yeah, that's the pufferfish.
Pufferfish. So there you go. You did know one.
Yeah.
What about the Goblin Shark?
Yeah, but they don't bite you for that. That's like their
That's
spikes.
That's
yeah.
true. What
Anyway,
about the
what?
Goblin Shark?
Yeah, that's real.
It is real.
The nasty. Oh my! Look
Look
at that
at that
fucking
thing.
nose. Look
Oh.
at that. Nose.
Whoever called this creature the Goblin Shark was being kind. The fish has a long, flat
Can we
snout.
get whoever wrote this article to like come on to the
on
show?
interview.
Yeah.
It's a long, flat snout sticking out of its head. Oh, wait. Okay, why is my computer doing that? Hold on. Stop. Stop it. Now a thing came up saying, okay, well, we're going to...
Is there a paywall?
No.
Last
Hold on.
fish?
Here we go. All right, we're back. What the... the
Yeah, for
Goblin
those of you
Shark.
that haven't seen a goblin shark, go ahead and Google that real quick. I mean, it's just unfortunate.
Oh, it exited out of the thing. Hold on. Now I have to open up my sheet. Good thing we got this lovely music going. Yeah, the Goblin Shark. So it is okay. So that's a type of shark. I didn't. That's interesting. And then there's that. You know what's not on this list that I like is the fish with the little light bulb in front of it. That's the
Oh
coolest
yeah,
fish ever.
that thing's like I actually have no idea what that's called, but
I don't know
little
either.
dangler thing that
Hey,
hangs over.
look at that! It's next. The anglerfish.
Mm.
I think I'm going to show you the name. I'll show you a picture of it. I'm not even going to make you guess because you would have guessed that it was correct. That's an anglerfish. Apparently, that's not what I was talking about, but apparently that's the anglerfish.
I can't even. It looks like a rug.
It is a rug.
Like a.
What if I just showed you pictures of random objects? I'm like, that's the couch fish. This says, beyond Australia, this creature is called a frogfish, which doesn't make any sense to us because this particular specimen looks more like the fluorescent hallucinations of a 60s hippie. Admittedly, only certain types of anglerfish are this trippy. And then we've got, last but not least, Salty Dalton, the blob fish.
Yeah, it's real. It's the ugliest. I think it's the ugliest fish that's. Oh man,
it's the greatest.
Look at it.
It's
It
the
looks
greatest
like a
thing in the
sad,
world.
45-year-old man.
It's the greatest. Oh, it was voted the ugliest animal on the planet. Poor little blobfish. I mean,
Like,
that's not even.
What a dick move for humans to do is be like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and make a list of the ugliest things ever.
I don't even see how that's like a fish.
It doesn't.
Because,
It
like-
literally, it looks like a man who was a scientist who accidentally turned himself into a weird fish monster,
Yeah, it doesn't.
and then he just lies at the bottom of the ocean floor, being like, "Well, I can't get back to my old life."
It doesn't.
Wendy
he looks
left
so
me.
depressed.
Obviously, I'm a fish.
He looks
you
so
know.
depressed. It's so sad.
Didn't get a lot in the divorce. Lawyers still keep calling. They dive down there and talk to him.
He doesn't even. All he eats is frozen lunches that he warms up in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't know how to cook. Well, that is the. You did well on that quiz. There were definitely some. There were some real
There were no
ones.
fake ones.
There were some fake ones. No, everybody heard it. There was some real and fake.
It
in the
literally
mix.
went from guess what's true or false, and I was just guessing, then you ended up being like, I'm just gonna list them off for you.
Look, you got some right. You got some wrong.
Sure.
You did okay. Now, it's time for the scariest deep sea diving stories
DJ, spin that shit.
of all time. I've got the scary music going.
Okay. It sounds scary.
It is scary. Here we go. Let me tell you. Here's the first one. Let me set the mood here. All right. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes. Okay. Close your eyes and just listen to the music. I
don't know why. I'm afraid that you're gonna do something to me.
I'm not there. I'm
know.
here.
It's like head on a swivel. Okay.
I was 18 meters down when my air went bad.
Wait.
It had a weird.
18 meters.
Excuse
so
me.
that's.
Excuse me. Do you interrupt?
Is that like 50 feet?
Excuse me. Let me go back.
Okay. That's
Just
fine.
close your eyes, listen to the music, and listen to me talking.
Okay.
I was 18 meters down when my air went bad.
Mhm.
It had a weird metallic sugary taste to it, and I started losing consciousness. I pointed myself up and pulled my BCD, buoyancy compensator, and about 6 meters from the surface, I blacked out. When I woke up, I was being hauled into the dive boat. I blew both my eardrums and haven't been able to dive since. I got very effing lucky. I could have drowned.
Did you say effing or did they write effing?
No, I said effing.
Okay.
So that wasn't. So yeah, well,
So,
he passed out. That's pretty scary.
I guess that is, but like, I don't.
It was scary.
He's not a great storyteller.
That one wasn't that good. Okay, here's a good one.
because
Close
he's
your
like
eyes.
it was a weird taste.
Yeah. Well,
Kinda
no, I
like
think the weird
when
taste
he
was
microwaved.
I think the weird taste
for
was
just a little too long.
he didn't have like oxygen going anymore. That's why it was like a weird taste because he passed out. I don't know.
Yeah,
All right.
but
here
he
we
had the buoyancy thing, and he deployed that, and then he blacked out right before he surfaced. I mean, it's scary, but like I don't know. That was just a
go. Okay.
weird. Like,
okay. Hey, look. You don't
the
have
guy
to
tells a
give
weird
it,
story.
Give it a rating. Give it a rating out of 5. Out of 5 scary guys.
I was like half a guy.
Half a guy. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Just 'cause it was the execution of his story. Like I'm not blaming you. I'm
Right.
blaming the guy who.
Oh yeah,
wrote
I didn't
the
write
story.
these. All right, here we go. Close
You
your eyes.
could have.
Close your eyes. Sorry. Okay. When I was 15, I took the family boat out and dove the reef myself to clear my head.
Puberty,
That
right?
was mistake number 1. I was down at a
Okay.
depth of about 90 feet when I was only rated for 60. While diving, I spotted a 3.5 meter. Sorry, I spotted a 3.5 meter
Your
mako
dick.
shark coming right at me. For those who are unaware, Makos are basically the cheetahs of the ocean.
Fun fact: George Mason's swim team affiliate that they run are the Mason Makos.
They only have 2 speeds: Curious and Lunch. This guy was in
Wait.
Wait. He was in lunch mode.
Rewind. Well,
Yes.
We all love to be in lunch mode. What did he say right before that? They have 2 what?
They only have 2 speeds: Curious and Lunch.
Is Curious a speed? And is Lunch a speed?
This guy was in lunch mode.
Okay.
So I hovered, as I had been trained to do since there was no way for me to escape it. Nowadays, we dive
hovered.
with shark shields, which emit electronic
Yeah,
pulses
EMP,
that freak the sharks out and keep them away. But back then, what we used was essentially a chainmail sleeve. The idea being that sharks hate the taste of metal, so if you give it your arm, it'll bite down, decide you're gross, and move along. So I wait, and it comes, and I make the perfect move to give it my arm. However, just before the crunch, it occurred to me that I had left my sleeve on my bed. I had my kelp knife drawn. However, now I had a series of problems. I had a huge, open, gashing wound on my arm from the bite in open water, and trailed blood everywhere. Once the shock wore off, you realize that you're in salt water, and salt in open wounds don't feel good. In a panic, I dropped my weight belt and shot up to the surface without any sort of waiting period. Because I hadn't been paying attention to the currents, I was approximately a quarter mile downstream of my boat, which means I had to swim up to it. I ended up racing back to shore with nothing more than a tourniquet to staunch the bleeding. Long story short, my series of unfortunate self-inflicted events earned me 172 stitches, boatloads of physical therapy, because the shark had actually bitten down on my tricep and detached it, and easily identifiable scars as one of my favorite arms on one of my arms for the rest of my life. Oh, and I lost my deceased grandfather's favorite kelp knife that he left me. I like how he added that part.
I don't know what it is about those stories, but it's like getting there, and it's really intense. I mean, obviously that I have 2 speeds: Curious
Sure. That's
and
a good
Lunch,
line.
I guess. But the the part where he's like, right before the crunch, and then he doesn't explain that the shark did bite him, and then he's like, then you realize, and I was like, oh, well, that you're about to die, and he's like, it's salt water, so it really, really hurt.
Yeah, it's
Like a
not
lot.
only that, but it's stinging a little bit here. My tricep was bitten through, but it's stinging a little bit because of the salt water.
Yeah, it's just it's nuts. And then okay, I mean that one is better. I give
How
that
many?
like
How many scary guys?
2 scary guys,
2 scary guys. Okay,
because
we'll
like
get ready.
that's like terrifying and that sucks, but also like, I don't know.
Get ready. This one's pretty scary. Close your eyes. I'm a rescue diver, and I was diving in a submerged blue.
And I have 2 speeds: rescue and breakfast.
And I was diving in a submerged blue hole in the Bahamas, and a diver went missing. After an hour or 2 of searching, I went back
I
into the
realized it
blue
was
hole
salt water.
to see if there were any signs of him. I saw a glint of his watch on this arm sticking out near the bottom.
Oh,
I started descending to the bottom to recover the body, and on the way down, I realized that the bottom was actually a school of sharks that must have been there for breeding. There were so many sharks that they blocked the view of the actual bottom of the ocean. I descended into the darkness, grabbing his arm, and started ascending. The sharks followed and were circling both of us. I had to take a break halfway at around 65 feet not to get the bends. I was scared shitless. I spent about 8 minutes nearly 70 feet underwater, surrounded by a school of sharks and a dead body in one hand. That's it. That's pretty freaky.
yeah, for sure. And it's scary. Yeah, I mean, if you looked anywhere, and if I looked outside and saw 400 ostriches, I'd also probably be freaked out.
Ostriches?
I thought it'd be a little bit more like insane if like he reached down to grab the hand, and like when he pulled it, kind of like Jurassic Park, it was just the arm, and that's all he like. That was all that was left.
That's so sad.
That'd be pretty wild. That is scary though. I mean, also I wouldn't. Oh, that's like once I saw 400 sharks at the bottom, I'd be like, I'd swim up to the top, can't find him. There's nothing left.
Yeah, dude. I mean, think about that. You're you're swimming.
It's always
and
like
there's
dark in these
sharks.
stories too. I wonder where the
It's like a shark tornado.
light starts to go out is probably it happens to be occurring around like 90 to 100 feet. So I feel like once you get down that dark or that deep,
So
it's
it's
just
dark, and then there's just bodies swimming around you. It's all these sharks. It's a Sharknado. That's where they got the idea for the movie.
That was better. I'd give that three scary men.
Okay, we'll only do like one or two more. Here we go. I was diving in a local pond with a group of much more advanced cave divers than I was. I am leading the dive as to get used to the pressure and responsibilities of heading the procession. They are mentoring me. The known horrible visibility makes it impossible to navigate by compass, so we follow a line put by other divers. These lines go from one sunken item to another, so I know I'm about to hit a small sunken boat, but don't remember which one. There are a few similar in a row in the same state of decay. I am first in the group, and I get to the boat and see someone's black army boots sticking out from the inner quarters. It looks somewhat new, not like items you find on the bottom. It's hard to see due to too much muck in the water, so I touch the boot, thinking it is by itself, but it won't lift like it is attached to something heavy. I put my hand farther in and feel the leg continuing out, pants, the calf, and I see the second leg now. I turn around and show a sign for emergency ascend to the group behind me. Everyone has a sour face. No one wants to surface. I like how it's like, no, this is an emergency. They're like, really? Yeah. Come on, man. An emergency? What is there, a dead body?
Put Jim back in charge.
Here's a good rule, but it is a rule that if one says up, others in the group must abort, no questions. They wanted me to explain with signs why, but what is a diver's sign for a corpse? Probably something like, that's a good one.
Be pretty easy, right? Like
I feel like I rush towards the surface, even though trying to stay calm and take time. So we are on the lake surface. I have this adrenaline rush, can't breathe enough. So I tell them there's a body down there. I see rolling eyes from everyone once they see I'm serious. Wait, once they see I'm serious, they start rolling their eyes once they realize, oh yeah, dead body.
You're holding the dead body. This was down there.
Yeah,
okay,
like,
guy.
great.
Yeah, all right.
I describe in detail what I saw, and we go down. Once we locate it, we don't know if we should go forward or backward, as there are several boats on the line, and who knows in which body the boat is in, and which boat the body is in, and how far we drifted while talking it out on the surface. Well, we find all boats before seeing the original one, of course, so our customary leader goes into the boat's cabin, and we wait. I'd say he was rather courageous at this point. Went right in. Then he emerges from the cloud of muck and tells us all to surface. So gluing information together from what we learn later on, it turns out the police or some other agency had body recovery training in the same lake the same day. When they went for lunch, they stuffed their fully dressed an anatomically correct rubber doll in one of the sunken boats for a few hours for safekeeping.
Anatomically correct.
So it wasn't real.
So you could like accidentally grab a handful of genitalia.
You guess if it was anatomically correct. That wasn't.
It's a weird thing to have for training. Like, is that really ever going to come into play that you need to practice with a dummy that has?
Well, sometimes that's the only thing to grab onto.
Okay, so it turns out it was a body recovery team was training and they were in their area and found their dummy.
Right.
So maybe they got hired. That's pretty cool.
Was that scary for you?
It started out because like I was where I saw that going was like when they were like, "There's a body down there," and the rest of the divers are like, look around. They're like, "We know, we put it there. Are you in, or are you gonna end up in the boat too?" And that's like their whole initiation thing. That wasn't that scary after the reveal. So the beginning, if I stumble across a dead body anywhere, I'm terrified.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think it's a dead body, it freaks you out.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I would immediately have surfaced too. I just like how everyone like just didn't like. They were like, nah.
They were
annoyed.
Thanks.
Yeah, like, oh god, this guy. We put him in charge for one time.
We'll do one more. Here we go. This is a short one. When I was 13, we went drift diving out in Mexico on a very small boat with an outboard. No idea what that is. After surfacing, there was no boat to pick us up. Ooh. We were out of sight of land, and we bobbed around for a couple of hours. It was starting to get dark and pretty cold with the waves picking up. We also had no lights or any way to signal anyone. Out of nowhere, the boat appeared, and the guy seemed shocked. Apparently, he had accidentally found us on his way back in to find a friend with a boat to help look. I've always wondered how that could have gone down. Just think about that.
Yeah, that's probably 4 or 5 scary guys for me. Open
That's-
water.
That's
being
a top 5 scariest scenario in the world, I think, where
open water.
open water, no light, no
there's
boat,
a movie
nothing.
called
there's
called
definitely
Open Water.
I
But
f- yeah.
the thought of being stuck with nothing and no one in open water is probably one of the scariest things.
And especially when it gets dark.
Because it's also like, daytime is one thing, but like once it starts getting dark, like
Oh.
even if you go underwater, like
Freaks me out.
you can't see anything. But like that's one of my biggest fears is being, because I told you we flipped a boat before, but like when I was younger, we were all taking canoes and kayaks out at that summer camp I worked at when I got tased at.
Right, classic
And
story.
I flipped over in the middle of that jellyfish school and was just being stung constantly, but I was just in the bay. Like the closest person was like 300 yards away. And so I was just like, it's like the scariest thing ever. And that's like, I
you're
could
getting
probably
stung
swim to the bottom,
constantly.
but yeah.
And you're like,
It's like once you run out of energy or you can't float well,
you're dead.
you're done. It's
You're
done.
dead. Oh, it's so scary, dude. It's so scary.
That was the scariest one by far. Yeah. Well
just because just that thought is so freaking freaky. But typical Dalton Dalton with his phone calls. You almost answered it
Random
too
Word
early.
Podcast.
There it is.
That was the wrong number again.
Call center. You can always email the show, the random word blog at gmail.com. That's the best way to get in touch with the show. We still haven't heard from Sweden, Salty Dalton. I'm looking right now. I don't see any emails from Sweden. Nothing from Sweden. So you know what this means? Now we're going to support another country. Here's what's going to happen. No, don't worry. I'm not going to just be like Germany.
Hold on. Why is that bad?
Well, yeah, they're nice. Actually, here we go. Here's Salty Dalton. I'm pulling up a world map right now. And actually, I know last year I actually studied all of the countries.
You did.
of Europe.
You're very good at
Memorized
that.
them.
You're like a Rain Man with that stuff.
Well, that's a good way to put it. I'm trying to find. All right, I want to look at a good world map here, and I'm gonna throw out a couple country ideas that we're gonna just start really being support of that country until we hear from Sweden. All of these are Amazon things. Why? I'm not trying to buy a map. I just want to look at a map. Okay, here we go. It's like every link I click, it's like, here it is on Amazon. It's like, I don't want to buy it. I just want to look at a map. We can't look at maps these days. It's 2021. I still can't. This is the most annoying thing I've ever experienced in my life.
I'm sure if you just Google world map.
You want to know what I Googled? World map. That's exactly what I Googled.
Look, I literally.
Okay, I've got it.
Wikipedia, world map.
Oh, hold on. I got it.
It took me 3 seconds.
All right. You know what we're going to start supporting from now on, Salty Dalton?
Huh.
Finland.
Okay. Yeah, I could get behind that.
The Finns. Because if it's right by Sweden, and if Sweden's not going to support us, we're going to become big Finn fans. Good Finn fans. That's what we could call ourselves. The Finn fans.
Finn fans.
Here's the call center. Rob, 55 from Buffalo.
Ooh,
hey guys,
Buffalo.
How long could you and Salty Dalton, I assume you, it means Ben, and Salty Dalton, go without killing each other if you were on a deserted island? How long could we go before we murdered each other? I'd like to think...
Probably a pretty long time.
I'd like to think we could go a long time. I'd like to think that we would band together and survive, but also, with the caveat that is eventually... madness has to set in at some point.
I think realistically,
like there's going to be a night where there's the fires going, and you're on this side of the fire, and I'm on this side of the fire, and we're laying there.
Like a piece of ham.
We're laying there, Salty Dalton, and you have one eye open, and I have one eye open, and we're just kind of looking at each other. And we're just like, I think this might be the night that we try to kill each other.
I feel like eventually there would be a madness that sets in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But also, like, on the flip side of that, it's like if you're on an island and there's only you and this other person that need to survive, like if you murder them, you're like, then what?
Yeah,
now
then
you're down
really
to one
lonely.
person. Yeah, and then you get really lonely.
No, I mean that's a cool thing about being if you're stranded on an island with another person, then you at least have somebody that you can talk to.
Yeah,
Now
like,
here's
I mean,
the thing:
Tom Hanks had to get a volleyball, and it'd be nice to have a someone to talk to.
who wouldn't you want to be stranded with? They don't have to be a person that you like. That's like a family member. It could be like a celebrity. Like, is there somebody that you would not want to be stranded on an island with? That you feel like you would eventually murder? Not a big Elon Musk fan.
Really?
Maybe
I
I'd
think he'd
kill
be
him.
able to like finagle some type of
Yeah,
science.
that's true. He's smart. Who would I want to just absolutely bash on the head with a rock if we were there too long? I mean, I don't like the Kardashians, but then again, we could reproduce. But let me think.
It would probably be like, honestly, it'd probably be like a raunchy comedian.
Right, because those jokes would get old after a while.
They would get really old, and like
Yeah.
I think after a certain point, like it's just like, and if something were to happen, it would literally just be like their only coping mechanism would be jokes.
No, I
And
think that's
there'd be a
good,
point where I might just absolutely lose my mind.
that's
I
a
think,
really
like,
good answer.
like it doesn't even have to be a famous one, but just like some type of guy who makes his living like doing stand up, but like on the raunchier side.
That's 100%. Because also, it's like at some point he's running out of material because
because you're on an
if
island.
he's using his surrounding stuff. He's like, God, palm trees, right? I mean, what they're not
Last
the
time I
size of
saw
my
a
palm.
palm tree like that, I was having sex in the back of this truck, and then
Yeah,
you're
he's-
just like, what
like-
are you talking about?
He's like, palm tree. That's what I call my penis
Yeah.
because I use my palm.
It would. I think that would definitely that would make me snap. I think it would be okay for the first couple days, but it wouldn't take long. For
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I can't come up with a better one. That is fantastic. We got one more. We got Nicole. She is 30, and she is from the Bronx. Like a lot of New York
Bronx.
audience here. Fellas, I know you're doing the OceanCast this week. If you were a fish, what type of fish would you be?
Definitely not the Goblin Shark or
not
the
the
with the
Goblin
Blob
Shark.
Fish.
Um,
Sad old man.
yeah, definitely not the blobfish.
What is the fastest fish? Let's look that up.
Yeah, go ahead and Google that because I have no idea. The fastest fish.
Ooh, the sailfish.
Okay,
Top
so you
speeds of nearly 70 miles an hour.
So you want to be the sailfish then? Is that,
Oh,
your
absolutely.
choice?
Yeah, because if I gotta swim, I want to be able to do it fast because everything in the ocean is trying to kill you.
That's
Right? If you think about that, like there's always something bigger. But like
I'd like to
sailfish?
be.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to be. Oh man, I don't really want to be a shark. Maybe I'd like to be one of those minnows.
I was
No.
literally about to say a minnow, and
Yeah,
just
maybe
as
a
a
minnow.
joke.
Oh,
minnow.
as a joke. No, I don't want to be a minnow. 'Cause that was just a joke. I'd like to be like one of those stinging eels, the electric eels.
Oh, okay. I
'Cause
like that.
I can
That's
electrocute
a good
you.
look. Yeah.
And I'm like kind of weird, and like I don't know if
can
many
slither
other
into
fish
weird
try to eat
places.
us. I don't think like stuff really tries. I mean, I'm sure like sharks try to eat eels, but like not that many, probably.
I don't think eels have a lot of predators except for
No.
sushi restaurants.
Right. Yes, people do like big
Unagi.
sushi people. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very good.
So that would be my choice, and I appreciate
That's a
you
good
emailing
choice.
us in, Nicole.
Yeah.
You can
Thanks,
email
Nicole.
in yourself, the randomwordblog@gmail.com.
Com.
Well, that about
That's
does
palm
it
trees, huh?
for those ocean cat. Yeah. God, just imagine. I mean, like
I think
what's
it'd be
he
a
does-
really funny skit. Is like it opens with like a castaway type situation, and like or lost, and you're like searching the plane wreckage,
like
and
who
it's like
survived.
some guy who is headlining like a New York, Upper West Side comedy club, and it's like really nasty stuff.
God, what would that?
And you're just kind of like, God.
I wonder what that show would be called. Was there some pun with like stand up island, or like comedy island, island of errors, island comedy island. The
Instead of
last
Staten, no,
joke.
it'd be like
Joke.
I don't
Last. I don't know either. We just do this for 20 minutes. We're like, I don't know.
Really find
Why
the
don't we
perfect-
write some
It
ideas
shouldn't be
down?
that hard to name a comedy club after something sexual, right? Maybe New York is the issue.
Something sexual? I was saying with the name of the show, like the TV show.
Oh,
What were you thinking?
I
of
thought you
names?
were talking.
No wonder
about,
we couldn't come up with anything.
I thought you were talking about the guy who you found in the wreckage, who was doing the set at a comedy club
no,
in New
I
York.
can name comedy.
That we
clubs.
had to name the comedy club.
I know.
And I was like, I don't know, man.
We were not on the same page
Okay,
there.
what are you talking
Were
about?
you wondering what I was saying? Why I was saying weird
and I
things?
was like, why?
Okay.
Okay. So
No. I
you're trying to name the show.
the name of the
Trapped on
TV
island.
show. What did you say?
So you're trying to name the show
Yeah.
about the island with you and
If it was a
raunchy
TV
comedian.
show, yeah, exactly.
It'd probably be something like final joke or
Final joke. Okay.
die
We'll
laughing.
workshop this a bit.
Die laughing.
Die laughing. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it. If you have any suggestions, feel free to let us know. And also follow the show on Instagram, the Random Word Podcast. That's where we post stuff occasionally.
You know what the comedy club would be called? Something probably like the Long Island. It's got a drink out front.
Were you like-
It'd be something dumb like that.
You're like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. The Long Island. That's where the guy was probably performing.
That is the Long Island. That's where.
And he'd be
that's
like,
where he was
"Oh, I'm here at the
performing.
Long Island. You know what else is long? My dick." And
Shawing,
then, the
and that's
crowd
his
goes wild.
like catchphrase. He goes shawing.
Shawang. Yeah,
after
and
every
everyone
joke.
hates it. And
Yeah.
there's like a 6-drink minimum there.
That would be the guy that you'd not want to be stuck on an island with for
Yeah.
sure, because he would
Absolutely.
complain a lot, and he'd do his sets and stuff for the lizards.
And
on
the thing
island.
is, he's only done one set, and it's
Yeah.
been at the Long
Yeah,
Island.
he's not even a
and
very
he's on his
successful
way back
comedian.
from that. And he just
Right.
and he's just like, when I'm always on stage.
He's
the
only been
one
doing
time.
it about like a year, and
Yeah,
like,
and he's done one show.
yeah, this is good. This is
Yeah, okay.
This is a good TV
Really
show.
building this guy's backstory. He's a
we spent more
piece of
time on this
trash.
than actually teaching anybody
He's
anything.
a piece of human trash.
Well, we will be back in a couple of weeks for another episode. Be sure
What do
to
you think his name
subscribe
would be?
and like maybe like instead of
Jeremy
Brandon,
Stutter
it
or
could be
something.
like Brennan.
Oh, yeah, I like Brennan.
Brennan McCarthy, Brennan
Dozier.
Brennan Dozier.
And he'd always be like, Dozier, you mean like does her? And no one laughs.
Right. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm the Dogecoin, brother.
Yeah, okay. Brennan
yeah.
Dozier from
Yeah.
the Long Island
Brennan Dozier.
Comedy Club.
Well, I hope that out of all the things you take away from this episode, I hope you remember Brennan Dozier and the comedy club and the crashing on the island and living with us and the palm tree
Yeah.
jokes.
Tune in on Fox, 8 Eastern Standard Central Time
That is
to
Salty
watch
Dalton.
Die Laughing.
That is Salty Dalton. I am Ben.
Yep.
We will see you next time. Sayonara, my sweet, sweet suckers.
Blub, blub, blub. We outie. Get it? Because we were underwater.
I got it.
God, the